Runnin' with the Devil, a rock and roll adventure. Part 23. Hi, guys, Edgar said, in that same nasal tone, waving at us palm open once again. The tape holding his cheap sunglasses together was orange. Did you catch that reference? If so, good for you. Anyway, I assume he wore sunglasses not only trying to make himself look cool, but also to hide the fact that his eyes blinked sideways, remember? He wore a blue pilot's uniform, complete with the hat. Dude. Are you fucking kidding me? Derek said. I don't think so, dude, Corey responded. I'm not too sure about this, Bob, I said. Don't worry, boys. He's been playing a flight simulator game on what he calls his TRS-80 computer, for quite some time now. He'll be fine, Bob replied. A flight simulator game, we all said shockingly in unison, including Tony. Doesn't he need a pilot's license or something? I asked. Boys, I assure you, that if any complications arise, I will handle the situation. I am the devil. I can do that. Besides, finding a licensed pilot, and negotiating a deal, would take far too much time. Time, we do not have. So, Edgar is our only option, Bob said. We all half-heartedly waved back, nervously smiling. Hi Edgar, we all said in unison once again. Tony just said hi. Derek, Corey, Ricky, Steven and I were all taken back by the fact that the person that tried to kill us was apparently the pilot of our new plane, with absolutely no formal training, just a video game, and not even a good one. Compared to today's standards. I knew my bandmates were already dead, but I was pretty sure they didn't want to die again, now or any other time after, even if they'd all come back to life. Come on up, guys. We'll be taking off soon, Edgar said. Boys, up we go, Bob said, moving his arm in a presenting fashion toward the stairs. Once we enter, put the stairs in their proper place and take the bus back to the house. Bob said to the old man. Yes boss, he said. Wait. My accordion, Tony said, as he stepped back onto the bus to get it. That was close. I almost forgot it again, he said. Cool, man. That way you can jam with us, I commented. I'd like that, Tony said smiling. Nervously, we all then began the ascent into the plane. Bob went first, then Derek, then Corey, then Ricky, then Steven, then me, and last was Tony. Who's Edgar? I heard Tony ask from behind me. If you remember, Tony had never met Edgar before. Long story short, dude, I answered, slightly turning around but still walking up the stairs. He recorded our album, played keyboards on it, put back masking bullshit on the tapes, turned into a demon, and tried to kill us. Dang, is all Tony said. We reached the top of the stairs. Bob shook Edgar's hand, stepping inside. Edgar then raised his hand to high-five each one of us. We all high-fived him, nervously smiling, as we stepped onto the plane as well. Hi, pilot guy, we heard Tony say, stepping onto the plane. I'm Tony. I'm their bodyguard. Wonderful, Edgar replied. Have a look around, guys. I'll let you know when we're taking off. I have to contact the tower to get clearance or something, I think. This is my first time ever flying a real plane. I'm kinda nervous, he said. That did not help the situation at all. Boys, right this way, Bob said, pushing a curtain open that led into the fuselage, or the main body section of the plane. You see boys, I have taken the liberty of dividing the fuselage into 3 separate sections. First is what I like to call, your hangout section. The room was filled with luxurious high-end furniture, tables, and chairs. A huge 85-inch flat-screen television hung to your left. On the same wall the curtain was on when you first walked in, with both Atari and Nintendo NES game systems hooked up to it, with a huge stack of games, for each console, next to them. And a Gothic Victorian-style chair sat to the right of the curtain. Now, I know what you're thinking, flat screens didn't come out until 1997. So how did you have one back then? And my answer to that would be, I don't know. But, Bob is the devil, so. Anyway, there was a fully stocked coffee bar, and a fully stocked beer on tap station, with 6 of the best beers the 80s had to offer, as well as a stack of red Solo cups on the left side, and a make-your-own Subway sub and sandwich station. All on the left side wall, 6 pinball machines sat vertically along the wall in front of you when you first walked in, with one wooden door in the middle of them. 2 large couches sat on the wall to your right. In between them were 2 vending machines. One was a cigarette vending machine, but the other was something I had never seen before. What's that? I asked, pointing to the machine on the right. Oh, that is a marijuana vending machine, same design as the cigarette machine, only with joints already rolled, in packs of 20. I created it myself, Bob answered. There were ashtrays on the tables, with lighters on the tables next to each one. Everything on this plane is free, boys. If you run out of something, wait 5 seconds, human time, and whatever you ran out of will automatically fill back up, he told us. Here you can drink, smoke, party, play games, and have a grand old time. Free weed, dude. We won't need Willie anymore, Derek said to Corey. Yeah. No more Willie, Corey replied, laughing. Beyond that door there, is the second section, what I like to call, your sleeping/entertainment section, Bob said. Here, let me show you, boys. Tony laid his accordion on the couch on the right. We all then walked over to the door, and Bob opened it. Inside was a long hallway that stretched the entire length of the room, with another wooden door at the end. There were 3 wooden doors on each side. A small nameplate was positioned at eye level, on the right side of each door, with the name of each one of us, on each plate, so 6 small rooms occupied this space. Here you can sleep, in your own room, boys. Or entertain the ladies. We don't need to sleep, Derek said. Well, 4 of you don't, one of you doesn't have to sleep if he doesn't want to, only one of you needs to sleep, and if he doesn't want to, I'm sure Mr. Hardsell here could help him out with that. It's mostly for entertainment purposes, Bob said. Huh, Tony said. Girls, Corey responded, moving his hands in a curving fashion, up and down, you know. Girls. He emphasized the word girls when he said it the last time. Oh, I like girls. They're pretty, Tony said. Anyway, each room is equipped with a bunk-style bed. After all, that is all you will need. What's behind that door? Stephen asked, pointing to the door at the end of the hallway. We all then began walking down the hallway to the door. Bob then opened it. Just like in the room that should have been the bathroom in the house, this room had what? That's right. Our gear. Well, not our gear, but new gear. A brand new Yamaha drum kit, as well as a brand new set of Warmy Pro Mark LA special drumsticks, just like Bobby Blotzer from Rat used, sat in front of 5 Marshall stacks which sat against the far wall. The drums were designed with flames, with the band name printed on the bass drum, written in flames as well. They were obviously for Steven. That wall had no door this time, but there was a little room, maybe 3 by 3, that sat on the left side of the stacks in the drum kit. Bob said that was the bathroom, or lavatory, as he put it. Anyway, there were 3 ESP guitars, with straps, on stands, just like George Lynch from Dokken played, to the right of the drums. Bob said those were mine. One had flames, one had a coffee cup design, and the other was leopard print. There were 3 Les Paul standards, also with straps, on stands, just like Kirk Hammett played, next to mine on the right. Those were Ricky's. If you don't know what band Kirk Hammett plays with, you're probably too young to appreciate this story. Anyway, one had a broken glass design, one was white with some kind of Japanese insignia on it, and one had the label of a Budweiser bottle on it. There were 3 Ibanez Thunderbird basses, again with straps, on stands, just like Nikki Sixx from. Again, if you don't know what band Nikki Sixx plays with, please put your phone down, and go do your homework. Anyway, they were to the left of the drums. The basses had no designs, they were black, red, and dark blue. Those were obviously Derek's. There were 4 Shure cardioid condensed microphones, just like Lenny Killister from Motorhead used, sitting in front of the drums. One of those were Corey's and the rest were for Derek, Ricky, and I to use for backing vocals. A brand new MRX analog chorus pedal, just like Eddie Ojeda from Twisted Sister used, sat in front of each set of guitars. All the plugins were neatly piled in front of each instrument. There was no keyboard, like Edgar played on the album, which was odd to me. You see, boys. As your manager, I have been offered very lucrative endorsement contracts from each of these fine companies, on your behalf of course. When we get back from the tour, I will present the contracts to you for your signing. All the companies have agreed to let you try out their products first, before making any decisions. Derek yelled out, everybody. The rest of us screamed, rock and roll, and began celebrating, and high-fiving each other, including Tony. Also, I contacted a sandwich company called Subway, and offered you, Tony, as being their official spokesperson. They said that your size would not be a very good image for their company, but after agreeing to supply the CEO with a lifetime supply of Kit Kat candy bars, she agreed. Your contract is very lucrative as well. Now, boys, we will be taking off soon. Let's head back to the front, shall we? Bob said. We all began walking back, Bob closing each door behind us. We arrived back at the hangout section, and began indulging in all the incentives. Do I really have to tell you who went where? You get the idea, right? Anyway, after getting our incentives and taking a seat at the table, we all began talking, as Bob stood in front of the TV. In midst of conversation, we heard, "Daddy, where are you?" a soft woman's voice said from behind the curtain. We all stopped talking and looked in that direction. The curtain slowly began to open, revealing a long red-haired woman standing there seductively. She had bright green eyes, pouty lips, and was very well endowed. She wore a skin-tight, low-cut stewardess's top, with a low-cut skirt, and what appeared to be 6-inch stiletto heels on her feet. Her left leg was positioned in front of her right leg, with her knee bent, with only the toes of her heels touching the floor. She was holding the curtain open with both hands, and leaning in toward the room, with her head tilted to the side. She looked like a rock goddess. "Ah, there you are," Bob said to her, "right on time. Boys, I'd like you to meet Rebecca. She will be your stewardess for today's flight, and every flight thereafter. If you need anything, outside of these incentives, food and beverage-wise, Rebecca will go to the kitchen area, which is right behind that curtain, and prepare it for you. A steak, a hamburger, a glass of soda, or a cup of tea. The kitchen area, as well as the cockpit, which lies just beyond the kitchen, are both off limits to all of you. I don't drink tea. I'm still mad at the British," Tony said. I snickered. The rest of the guys, including Bob, just looked at him funny. "If you don't get it, you probably never will." Anyway, Bob then continued, "Rebecca will also be your nurse. She has a totally different outfit for that, just in case any accidents may occur. Say hi, Rebecca," Bob said. "Hi boys," she said seductively. Bob then looked at her hard-faced, then turned back to us. "Like I said, boys, everything on this plane is free, except for her, not even for a price. Do you understand?" Before we could answer, we all heard Rebecca say seductively, "Aw, Daddy. But they're so cute." "Enough," Bob bellowed at her, "go tell Edgar we're ready." "Yes Daddy," she said saddened, and slowly turned to go back through the curtain. "Dude, that's the devil's daughter. We've heard songs about her," Derek said laughing. Bob looked at Derek more intensely than he looked at Rebecca. "I'm just kidding man. We ain't heard shit. Right Cor?" Derek said nervously. "Yeah man. Nothing," Corey said, shaking his head. Everyone else had their eyes fixated on Bob. I, however, could not take my eyes off of Rebecca. Not because she was incredibly gorgeous, even though she really wasn't my type. No, it was because something didn't seem right to me. Something that told me she was different than your average sexy voluptuous naughty stewardess. And my assessment was correct. When she fully turned around, to go back behind the curtain, I saw what the difference was. She had a tail. It was waving excitedly behind her.